All right, welcome everyone to another session of Bayyinah and Friends. This is Franz Court Jr., author, publisher, Thoroughbred Books, and today is Thursday, September 24th, 2020, the year of clear vision. So I want to welcome everyone. Thanks for logging on this afternoon. We're going to have a great session, webinar today. Today is no guest, no special guest today. All of us, we're the special guest today. So, we're gonna delve into a lot of different topics. We're gonna review a few events that happened over the weekend. And, we're going to, do a couple of other things, Q&A, stuff like that. So without further ado, let me bring on our host, Professor Bayyinah Bello.
Thank you, Franz. And thank you to all. Thank you for being with us one more time. And thank you, a special thank you to all those who are here now on time. That's the number one thing we need to learn, to do things on time with discipline, with structure, with organization. Do it when we say we're going to do it. Make our word bond every single time. And that's one of the things we have to strive hard to make sure that we do. So a special thank you and special welcome to all of you who are present today, now, in this moment. Welcome. As Franz already told you, today we are the guest. We are the host. It's about us and how we Ubuntu together. How do we get the things we need to do done by putting our strength, our ideas, our determination, our force, our power, our funds, our work, our energies, putting our stuff together to get what we want accomplished. And that's number one. That's a key for us in our concentration this week. So, without further ado, in the name of all those who came before us, all those who struggled and fought for life, for Black life to continue. Nanon tout ancêtres qui te créé goumen bâti, lité pour peuple noir pas péri. Nanon tout sila yo qui te choisi marcher, courir, à joindre la mort, les yo pat wè ki jan pour yo tracer route liberté. Moi saluer toutes amis, Bayyinah and friends. In the name of those ancestors who created, built, fought, so African children will not be erased on our planet Earth. In the names of those who chose to rush up to death rather than live without tracing a way to freedom, I greet you, all the supporters, contributors of Bayyinah and friends. You know that there are no hazard or chance, right? In Bayyinah and Friends, we are firm believers that education is the system by which citizenship, attachment to culture, to self are forged. We will be welcoming ourselves today. Before we talk to each other, let us take a few minutes to take control of our breathing system. Let us take the time to take 7 deep breaths together. Sit up straight, back straight, feet flat on the ground, hands on the knees, and let us breathe together as we keep in our mind a people, a Black people, free, powerful, owning their own planet, and sharing the prosperity with each other. That's the thought that we're going to breathe in and breathe out today. All of us, free, powerful, generous, Let's go. Take in, in, hold. Let out, 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 out. Relax. We take in through the nostrils, we let out through the mouth. Again, take in, hold. Let out, 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 out. Relax. Take in, hold. Let out, out, out. Relax. Take in, hold. Let out, out, relax. Take in, hold. Let out, relax. Take in, hold. Let out, relax. Last one. Take in, hold. Let out, relax. Thank you. Remember, the purpose is that we, each day, as we practice taking control of our breath, we will gain greater control of our body. We will gain greater control of our lives. If we cannot have any control of our breathing, we can forget about the rest. So, again, welcome to Bayyinah and Friends. Welcome to each and every guest. And as we usually do, we'll start again reading our nearly 5,000-year-old reflection on freedom. As you already know, the author is Amunhotep. He is an Ethiopian philosopher, and he gifted us with this fabulous poem on freedom. So, the first person who will start. Oh, I don't get, okay. Hey, about Walkie Joseph. Take the first paragraph, please.
I feel like I know that. All right. Our first mistake was that we thought freedom as a place rather than a continuation of a struggle.
Thank you. Diana, the next paragraph. Diana Revelous is not present.
Tyranny never sleeps. I'm sorry, I was on. Do you want me to continue?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Tyranny never sleeps. A paragraph, the shortest paragraph, but a paragraph that we must pay close attention to. All right. Who's gonna take the next one?
I can do the next one.
Go ahead.
Our second mistake was that we thought of freedom as a goal rather than as a launching pad for which to reach our goals.
Excellent. And the next paragraph.
We'll do it. You ready?
Yes.
Say, without purpose,
Without purpose,
freedom
freedom
hardly
hardly
matters.
matters.
Mhm.
Oh, bravo.
Bravo.
Hmm.
I'll
Somebody's
take the
happy
next
Daddy is back. That's great. All right. Who's taking the next paragraph?
I'll take the next one. Our third mistake was that we thought that freedom would make us free. That, however, is license, not freedom at all.
Thank you. And the last one.
I'll take that one. Freedom is being shackled to identity, purpose, and direction, and being in constant pursuit.
Being in constant pursuit. Excellent. Thank you very much. So, what have we gained from this? And by the way, I do congratulate everyone. We were able to do this together, each person proposing themselves, not somebody telling you, but you assuming the responsibility. And that's how we build communities. That's what type of people can build communities. People who can take charge and do things and get things done. All right, let's go on. So would someone someone who hasn't spoken yet, share with us how they view freedom, the text that we're reading.
Maybe now it's time for the professor to call on some students.
I would take
In the community, we have no
a shot at it.
professors. Unless things get really buckled up. But we're doing all right so far. Let's go. Yes, somebody wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I would. From the line I read, freedom is being shackled to identity.
Mhm.
I would say that you would not have freedom not knowing who you are. Being in the mind of somebody else and not in the mind of your true identity of who you are and who your ancestors were before anyone ever interfered with our lives. If you don't know who you are, you can never be free. So freedom is also understanding your history, your culture, your identity, and being shackled to it and pursuing completing yourself to be the whole you, not a broken or shattered you, such as what Dr. Baba Wade Noble states, that we have a shattered conscious, being fulfilling and completing yourself for your true identity of who you were before you were ever invaded, enslaved, captured, and integrated. Without knowing who you are and being shackled to that identity, you can never be free.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, indeed. We'll take a second evaluation or reaction to the poem.
Hello, Mama Bello. This is Shadana. And just looking at my notes here from when Professor James Smalls was with us, he used a statement that we as Black people, we as a whole are wealthier than we've ever been, but we are in the same place we were a week after slavery ended. So using that to say that freedom isn't so much about the shackles, but the mindset.
Excellent. It's not so much about the physical shackles, but it's about the mindset. Absolutely. If your mind isn't screwed on right, it doesn't matter what you have. You know, it's like the situation in Haiti. Haiti is the richest country in the Americas. There is nothing that we do not have here. None of those things that everybody seems to give a great value to, like petrol, like gold, like diamond, like iridium, etc., etc. But they have conditioned us to think of ourselves as poor little Haitian. we have nothing. We have to beg for 2 pennies. And that's how those are also the minds that they choose to put at the head of our country. People who think that way, you know? So, and looking back at that last paragraph, freedom is being shackled to identity. All right. So in IT, how many of us really study our own artistry? How many of our leaders do we hear them say, well, I take this position because in 1803, this happened. Because in 1791, this happened. So I have to line up with this position. We don't hear that kind of comment. People say, I'm chef. And that has absolutely no value. You are chef of nothing if you're not shackled to your identity. If you have no idea who Haitians are, if you don't know who Dessalines is, how could you be a chef here? We'll take one last comment on the poem.
Tyranny never sleeps. That one keeps me alert. As much as we're trying to do our part to restore righteousness and justness into the universe, we always got to be vigilant that as much as we're working, somebody might be working 3 times harder. So we got to keep going.
Absolutely. So, you see, I often thought, I remember in 1980, I made a comment in IT that they were talking about the work day in IT then was from 8 to 2, the work day. When you're a full-time worker, you go to work at 8 and you leave at 2. And, I said, this is ridiculous. We're talking about, we have so much catching up to do. We have so much to accomplish. We're so far from where our ancestors started us off. And our day is shorter than anybody else in the world. Our work day? That's ridiculous. Of course, people thought I was some kind of mad woman. Yeah. So eventually we went to from 8 to 4, a work day. It's still nothing. It still doesn't, if you're talking about development, you're talking about progress, you're talking about advancement, it has to do with how much work you put in a 24-hour day. And if your 24-hour day, you put in 2 hours work, then don't be surprised if the person next to you is much further than you are. So yes, freedom is the basis for everything. But in order to even aspire to freedom, you must be shackled to your identity. Without identity, there can be no purpose. There cannot be, direction cannot be determined. So, and when somebody decides when you go, where you go, what you do, how you do it, you are not free. Thank you. Thank you all who spoke, because everyone stayed on the subject. That too is vital. To build a community, we have to have people who can stick to whatever the topic is and not wander off with the comments. Thank you very, very much. Namaste is how I will greet you today. And namaste means what? Namaste means I greet the divine in you. Namaste, I greet the divine in you. And the answer is namaste, the same thing. I greet the divine in you. You imagine how beautiful it is if each one of us, when we look at each other, we knew with certainty, with conviction, that whoever is in front of us, we're not even going to deal with that body. We're going to deal with the divine hiding inside his body. So, I would like to know today, how would you connect this poem, Freedom, to any part of your university curriculum? Those of us who went to the university. Did the curriculum, the university curriculum, have any element that connected us to freedom, that nurtured freedom in our learning process? Well, I can, go ahead.
I would say no, because the curriculum that we have now wasn't built to free the Black man. As a matter of fact, it was built to keep us in chains. And when you think of freedom being tied up to identity, and whatever we are studying in universities or colleges now are stuff that are really preparing us to be a good helper for the white folks, because of the lies that are part of whatever we are getting from the curriculum.
Exactly.
Because, and yeah, so that's probably one of the reasons why I like the setting, to be part of this group and learn a lot of stuff, because you don't know how much lies you have been fed, so until you start really learning certain truth. You see what I mean? So to answer your questions, I mean, I think no. I don't think it was built. It was meant for liberating the Black man. That's my understanding.
Absolutely. We went to school so we would become more properly adopted slaves to the objectives of the slavers. So until we realize it, we cannot take decisions that will lead us to freedom.
That's it. Yes.
So it is vital for us to become aware. Things don't make you free. This week I was rereading some of the rules of dressing during colonization. If you were such and such grade of, as you know, they divided the mixing. They say it this way: if you are jet black from Africa, you are 16/16 black blood. And if you are so-called white, you are 16/16 white blood. And when there is a mixture of black and white, then depending how much, based strictly on skin, there was no blood tests, right? Just on skin. They look at your skin and they say, okay, this woman is Chabin, this woman is mulatto, this woman is Quateron, this man is this man is that. They had 16 different names according to skin color. And so if you were Chabin, for example, you were not allowed to wear laces on your clothes. So if a mulatto woman who is allowed to wear lace, give you a secondhand dress, there are laces on it, you have to remove all the lace before you can wear it, because you're not qualified to wear outfit with laces. There were rules about ribbons, about buttons, about anything and everything, so that as soon as you saw someone, you knew where they had classified this particular person according to their desire, because it's not based, it's nothing, So all of this to say what? Things don't make you free. Now, what happened to a Black man who buys his freedom, or a Black woman? Can she wear lace? No. She is free, but she cannot wear anything she wants because there are rules about what her skin color can wear. So we have to understand those processes have not disappeared. They have just refined and become more subtle. They do it with housing. When certain people live in a certain area, they treat the area a certain way. The garbage is not picked up on a regular basis. This, that, and the other is done. So your area is degraded because you live there. And when you move to another area because you say, oh, this is a nice area, but when enough of us move to it, then it becomes similar to what we left behind. So if you're free, you don't move to other people's neighborhood. A free mind make their neighborhood the way they want it. And even that we have to also keep in mind. Let's not forget Tulsa, Oklahoma. When our people built a beautiful town, well-disciplined, well-organized, where everybody was into a certain level of well-being, when they couldn't change it, what did the US government do? They bombarded it. So whatever you're doing, you must always be securing what you do. A freedom fighter is a freedom fighter for life. There isn't a moment where you don't fight anymore. You fight to get what you want, and you fight to keep what you want, then you fight to preserve what you've got. So, freedom fighting for life. So, next step, I would like for Wild Sparkles to tell us what she sees about what we're talking about. Royal, are you there? All right, let's go to someone else. Shadona?
Yes, hi Mama Bella. I was trying to unmute myself. So the thing that rings to me after hearing you speak on it is the portion of the poem that says tyranny never sleeps, and that even once we go and attend the universities, we might have the mindset that we are further along to getting our freedom, in the sense that, well, now we have a network of, you know, people that can get us into places that look like freedom, the better neighborhoods, the better jobs, corporate America, and things of that nature, when in actuality, we're still only playing the game. So to me, it makes me feel like, as a mom, when my children decide to go to this and that university, you know, them even choosing which university to go to, I feel like it's still playing into the system of tyranny, because they're going to be trying to vet out which universities put them in the right position. And it's like, do I want my children to play that game? That's what I'm thinking of.
Yes, but what's most important is, since it is their lives, we have to help them to see and make the right choices and not choose for them. Because they are young adults at this point, and they have aspirations, they have goals, they have their own forces and powers and divinity in them. So we have to respect the divine in our children too. So we can help them to see, help them to understand, guide them, but the choice, we have to respect their choices. because many times we have to do we have to experiment before we can really understand where the truth lies. All right. So my next question is, what part of this poem have you put in practice in your life so far?
Mama, Lion, can I speak up to that?
Certainly.
Is that okay? One of the things about this poem that speaks to me is because when we first met too, and the word I wrote down was purpose. That's purpose is like a driving force for everything we do, right? Even if we send those kids to those schools, there has to be that purpose. And I think that for me, besides tyranny never sleeps, and after being shackled to identity, but purpose is such a pervasive thing for me. If any, I just wanted to speak out to that line.
You said purpose is pervasive?
Like purpose is a pervasive driving force for me. If as a freedom fighter, my purpose and the motion for people, the joke about my blood type is C for community.
That's good. Yeah, oh, my blood type is U for Ubuntu.
That's why I want to speak up to that and maybe even hear from others how that, because it resonates so deeply with me.
All right, someone else wants to share?
Hi, this is Dwayne. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dwayne.
Yes, no, wanted to say I just use the know yourself. I think of it a lot because I'm in a transition period, just figuring out my career. And those words, especially the know yourself from the poem, I write notes about what interests me, what hasn't worked before. I just use it to kickstart self introspection, and I hope to find that quote unquote I guess career, whether it be in like technology or something else, for me. So I just wanted to say that I use it a lot to help guide me, and I always say I don't get frustrated, because I say if I'm not there yet, that means that there's something about myself that I don't know that I need to know. So I'm not as frustrated as I am before now that I have the framework of that poem. That's all.
Excellent. Sasha?
Mom, just to add, I just wanted to say I forgot the part that without purpose, freedom doesn't matter. That's why it resonates. I forgot the whole other half. I'm sorry. Bye.
Okay. Sasha?
Hi, my Bello. How are you? I'm currently at work, but I just didn't want to miss part of.
Okay.
Yes,
talk,
but I'm
that's
here.
okay. That's okay.
Okay.
Nirva? Kesheniwa? Anafa? Tehran?
Sorry, I was temporarily muted, so I didn't hear your question. Could you repeat your question for me?
All right. What part of our poem, of this poem that we've been reading all along, do you actually put in practice in your life?
Freedom is being, well, there's two parts, but freedom is being shackled to identity. So that means me being able to separate myself from a job title versus who I am. So knowing that I'm an African and a Black man, so knowing how to act, how to carry myself through the world versus my job title. I'm not my job title.
Excellent. Excellent. That's a very good point to place to start. Detaching ourselves from whatever we have received from others. You know, not giving it what they have taught us to give it as value. Put it in its proper place. Jocelyn?
Yeah. For me, shackled to identity and purpose and direction. I find that for me, knowing who I am as an African, right, has given me a form of purpose and direction. For me, I'm wanting to know more, like about the herbs that my people use, and the medicine they use, and the spirituality. You know, so that's for me has given me a purpose. Knowing who I am gives me more of a, what can I call it, more strength in myself, right? Knowing who my people are and who I am, you know.
Excellent. All right. Now, when we study different personalities, for example, Dessalines, are we clear that we're not studying Dessalines for Dessalines? He has already done what he had to do, and it doesn't matter to him, and he said it anyway, that he does not give a hoop as to what history will say about him, what people will say about him. He has done what he had to do, and that is fine by him. All right? So when we are studying, whether Dessalines, Nkrumah, Garvey, we're not studying them for them. We're studying them so we understand what kind of yardstick to measure ourselves by. They are us, and we have to work at becoming them. Om Hamsa Soham Sva. You are me, I am you. That's the kind of dialogue we need to keep up with our ancestors. Whatever they did, we have to look into our own lives and look at what it is that we do that measure up to what our ancestors have done. That's why I often say we have to work at adding our victories to theirs. Not just admire, oh, Dessalines was great. Oh my goodness, you see this? That's a wow, Dessalines did. That's fine. But after you say this, then you have to say, so Dessalines did this in those days with no computer, no television, no this, no that. What am I going to do? How do I use the Dessalines principle to add my victories to his? That's how we go ahead. So we have to look into this. And that's the reason why we need to honor and celebrate our people, our ancestors. Because by celebrating them, by studying them, we come to know what they did, how they did it, and then we become armed to become equipped to add victories to their victories. I don't know if Franz was able to get a clip ready for us.
Yeah, give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can get it.
All right. All right. One of the things we wanted to share with you today is a little resume from the celebration that we did on September 20th. In fact, to speak more properly, I have to say the celebration that you did on September 20th, because it is thanks to many of you who contributed, who helped us to do it. And let me tell you, you guys, you did a fabulous job. I am not sure if I had shared with you that 9 days before the celebration, Dessalines asked us that he wanted 6 other celebrations besides the one, not counting the one at Fondation Félicité. And I was like, hey, I don't even see how to do the one at Félicité, and you're asking 6 more? How am I gonna do this? Well, anyway, as we spoke about it, as we shared the idea with others, well, do you know how many celebrations you did on September 20th? We are directly implicated with 21 celebrations for Dessalines. We did one in Port-au-Prince, Fondation Félicité, one in Dessalines, one in Bois-Caïman, one in Jérémie, one in Mirbalais. Oh, the one in Mirbalais was big to do. Jacques Mel, Montorganisé, Vieux-Caille. Vieux-Caille is the small town where Dessalines is. Some of us are convinced that this is where he was born, the space where he was born. Podpe, Brooklyn, New York. Brother Dowd did a great celebration for Dessalines there. In Abuja, Nigeria, that was the first time Sister Afiavi took care of celebrating Dessalines there. In Toronto, Canada, Sister Jocelyn took care of it. In London, Institut Impérial took care of that. Bud Melimonade, Gomako handled it. Carade, Mr. Doc Tignav took care of Carade, Delma 45. In Lekai, Orgela, Mr. Orgela. In Okap, Mr. Orgela. In Ankaye, Wana. In Petit Guave, Senu. And hold your seats, in Indonesia, Catherine did the celebration for our ancestor, warrior, liberator, founder, General Jean-Jacques Dessalines. There were a lot of other celebrations that I don't have too much details, but I received, in some cases, I received pictures of about 12 to 15 other celebrations took place in Haiti, but we were not directly implicated. When we say we are directly implicated, it meant that Fondation Félicité provided information, we provided speeches, we provided music programs to different people, and they just did it in their area. But in other cases, people just sent us information and said, well, we had a celebration too. We did it this way. We had that in some pictures. In Miami, there were about two of them were done in Miami. Cherry did one of them. So there were quite a few celebrations. And also this year, first time, the Haitian government has declared September 20th Dessalines Day. Whatever that means, I don't know. But hey, listen, we'll take that to begin with. So after 21 years of celebrating Dessalines on September 20th, now the government has declared that September 20th will be known as Dessalines Day. And October 17, which they used to claim to celebrate Dessalines on, now will be known as a day of mourning in Haiti, a day of national mourning. That's what it will be. Those are the two decrees that happened last Friday. So it came out last Friday. So you can all of you applaud yourself. You did a great job in sharing the information, in sharing funds, in sharing ideas. And we did a pretty good job in celebrating our father. But remember, we celebrate him, why? So we can capture the competencies, the talents, the force of character, the courage that he showed in the past. We want to have that in the present. So Franz, do you or don't you have something for us? Oh, great, he does. Now this will give everyone an idea as to what we did on September 20th here. Now this is our Jerry, who takes care of all the technical stuff. This is Jessica.
Attendez après ces deux. Si nous répondons donc à toutes ancêtres là en dans nous chaque. Mais souvent nous agissons comme monde qui pas au courant que nous chaque a porté perte. Donc, bon gens pour mouiller, bon gens pour mouiller. Parole qui clé, je demandé pour nous dire 7 fois, à chaque fois pendant la première parallèle à ça, ces paroles en français, il dit nous avons osé être libres, osons l'être par nous-mêmes et pour nous-mêmes. Il y a une langue pas nous, mais qui j'en veux. Vous devez donner les guettes pour lâcher liberté. Vous devez gérer liberté nous pour nous-mêmes et puis dans l'intérêt par nous. Par nous-mêmes et pour nous-mêmes. Dans l'intérêt par nous, intérêt collectif par nous. Liberté à tout marcher pour servir tout le monde. Il n'est pas pour tirer le monde, il n'est pas pour morceau le monde dans le pays. On est ensemble. Fin de pour nous racher la liberté. On est là. Pour nous gérer la liberté. Pour nous-mêmes, en intérêt collectif par nous. Ils sont par nous-mêmes et pour nous-mêmes. C'est-à-dire que c'est nous-mêmes qui prenons la décision de soutenir nous. Donc, nous faisons pour assumer. Mettez toute disposition possible pour nous prendre mon tête, pour ne pas dépendre de monde, pour ne pas perdre la liberté. Liberté, il y a dans chaque monde qui est là. Mais si vous ne pas coûter un don, mais ça, vous ne pas contre qui j'en peux agir pour liberté. Même pas pour tête. Sans la justice, pas de pays. Sans la loi, pas de la justice. Chaque monde son Louis-Jean Bourget. Chaque monde son Rouchaloska. C'est ça qui passe. Attendez après ces deux. Pas seulement qui est rappel loin. Même si on monte tout, moi je vais passer. Et pas caractère, je traite de sanguinaire. Et pas caractère, je traite de rebelle. Et pas caractère, je traite de méchant. Mais les gars, et des méchants, c'est lui-même, après la bataille là, qui te dit au champ pour m'égaler, qui te bat au champ pour provision, qui te bat au champ pour Sam, parce que papier à l'époque, la France a couru pour régler tout. Donc, des alliés qui étaient sanguinaires, sans morale, qui ne pas rien, qui étaient dans le tête là, c'est lui-même qui va courir au champ, qui te vient à chier, qui te manger esclavio. C'est des alliés ça, il a pris de sanguinaire, qui te fini, qui dit au champ, pour m'égaler. Attendez après ces deux. Déposez bien nous notre tête. Même j'aime te faire tout ça. Marcher sous terre. Marcher sous terre. Déposez vos souliers. Marcher sous terre. Haïti terre de mystère. Haïti terre de poussière. Haïti terre d'esclaves. Haïti terre de blancs. Haïti connaît pour chasser colons. Tout comme menti, mandez Napoléon. Mais il y a toute bagaille pour être gauche. Tout ça fait, c'est pour poche. Vous faites voter en loi à la poche. Ça, c'est corruption. Dans ma poche, mais plus pas vraiment. Dans ma poche, les ministres. Dans ma poche, la justice. Dans ma poche, et les journalistes. Dans ma poche. Eh bien, Haïti, c'est une poche.
That's good, Slim. Thank you, Franz. All right. So everyone had the opportunity to see a little bit of what we did on the 20th. The instructions we received was that on 20th, we should work on the spiritual side of things. That was the stress. And he stressed specifically one thing for us to repeat 7 times. It's the part of his speech that says, we have dared to become free. Now let us dare to live, to handle this freedom by ourselves and for ourselves in our own interests. So when your founder gave you such a indiction to say, this is, you have dared to become free now, do everything to remain free and to use the freedom for the collective good. When somebody sign up to allow foreign military to enter the country, what is this person's title? That's a traitor to our history, a traitor to our ancestors' work, a traitor to our victories, our past victories. So we have to look at things based on our history. Everything has to be put on the historical yardstick. Then it's not your opinion. It's not, do I like France or don't like France? But if France take decisions that are in opposition to what Dessalines, Christophe, Capois took, then I have to say that's what it is. Whether France is my friend or not, whether he's my son or not, whether I'm madly in love with him or not, what he does has to be judged on the basis of what has happened. How did we create this country? There are things that must not happen here. So that's when we talk about conviction. That's when we talk about knowing who you are. That's when you talk about having purpose. And the purpose in 1803 was freedom for Haiti. The purpose in 2020 is still freedom for Haiti. And if any behavior is anti-freedom for the Haitian people, then that behavior is against the well-being of our people. And that's where we stand. There's no debate. This is it. We did not become free so we would become slaves 200 years later. We became free so we would remain free, and our children and great-grandchildren would be free. That's why we fought. That's why our ancestors fought. So anyway, so we are very happy and we are very grateful and very thankful for all of you who helped us to prepare, to arrange this ceremony for our ancestors. And in fact, the ceremony has not really ended because the table that is set up for him, he has not allowed us to take it down. So the party goes on. We still have to put flowers on it. Every day we still have to put the things that he wants there, fruits and flowers and cigars and rum. So he continues to party. Again, thank you. Thank you very, very much, all of you who helped. That was really great. At this point, we'll go on to duty for the Fondation. Right. Fondation Marie-Claire Heureuse, Félicité Bonheur Dessalines, FF. On Instagram, Fondation Félicité. Official Bayyinah Bello. YouTube is in the works, will soon be in a position to be introduced. If you want to contact us right here in Haiti, it's 509-2940-0869. Our website is www.fondationfelicite.com. And if you wish to donate via PayPal, it is fondationfelicite@gmail.com. Thank you very, very much. And I want to really insist on saying thank you to all of you. I know how difficult things are for everybody everywhere. And everyone has a lot of worries. We understand that, and we appreciate even more. And I want to say a very special thank you to a sister who sent us $3. I am certain that is worth a $3,000 to her. But really, thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. Take good care. We appreciate all and each one of you. Let us go on to our QA. And during our QA, we're gonna keep the same discipline we have kept so far. We're gonna ask questions, and we're going to keep our questions on the subject. We will make short comments, minute, maximum 2, but definitely no speeches. We're gonna keep ourselves, we each gonna keep each other in line. So the idea is that as many of us will have an opportunity to speak. Oh, that makes me remember. King Henry had a practice on Thursdays, Thursdays too. On Thursdays from 10 to 11, King Henry would receive people from the population, people who want to see him about whatever subject, but everybody had a single minute to make their point, not more. And people were instructed, don't bother with, oh, your majesty, you are such a great majesty, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. Just come in and say, Majesty, France is trying to take my land. The land belongs to me. Here are my papers. I'm giving them to your secretary. Thank you very much for handling this for me. Out. So everybody had, and he would see no less than 55 people in 1 hour. That's what you call efficiency. Okay. So we're going to sort of be inspired because, October 6th is King Henry's birthday. Of course, we're having a dinner for King Henry. And of course, you are invited to help. But right now, what we're going to do is handle time like King Henry would. When he gives you an appointment, he says, I will meet you tomorrow at 2 p.m., 0 minute, 0 seconds. So if you show up at 2:01, your appointment is annulled. That's how come he got so much done in his 14 years. The man knew how to properly utilize time. So we're going to be the Christophs of today. Mr. Franz Doronoku Jr., the mic is yours, and the handling of the population is yours.
All right. Okay, everybody. You heard discipline, discipline, discipline. King Henry, the great King Henry. I remember the stories. I remember going to the Citadel and to Sanssouci Palace and the tree where in the backyard where he would make a lot of his decisions and receive people. And I heard similar stories just like what Bello mentioned. So, all right, everybody, we're going to practice discipline. One question or, as many questions as you could fit in 60 seconds. And then we can go ahead and try to get as many people to participate as possible. So if you can, raise your icon, your hand icon in the participant screen. And we're just going to keep it open. Do you want to receive questions on any topic, Professor? Or you want to stay on what we've been talking about?
More or less, what we're dealing with right now.
Okay, all right. Okay, everyone, so go ahead, raise your hands in the participant screen and go ahead and get your questions ready for Professor Bello. All right, we got one. Shadana, go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Hi, Mama Bello. My question is, as a person that's working on their divination, are there any herbs that I can use to enhance my intuition?
I am sure there are, but I don't know. I cannot, that's not something that I've delved into much. But I believe silence and concentration are the two elements that will help develop your intuition. Also, staying away from sugar, refined sugar, treated foods, these things, and getting enough sleep. Those are the things that will help naturally build up your intuition. But I can't tell you, I don't know anything about the leaves that could, but I do know that they do exist. Carlos, there's an author. Carlos, I forget his name. Maybe next time I will have it for you. He has written a lot on various spiritual practices of South America, and he does mention some leaves in some of his books.
Okay.
I'll try to come up with a book title or something for you next time.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, very good. We're off to a very good start. Thank you, Shadana, for the question. Okay, next is Ananwa. Go ahead, you can unmute, ask your question, please. Adwa.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Thank you.
All right.
Greetings. Do you mind repeating what Nana Desalegn said to repeat 7 times? I wrote down some of it, but didn't get the full.
Okay. We have dared to take our freedom. Let us now dare to handle this freedom by ourselves and in our collective best interest.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yes, and I would like to suggest just very quickly, for those who have not read the original Constitution of IET from 1805?
Yes.
The 1805 original Asian Constitution, I suggest everyone go and read it. It's very telling of the state that we were in during the time under Desalegn's leadership. He was a true visionary and ahead of his time, really, because he dealt with a lot of issues in regards to education, equal rights for everyone, women, men, everyone. And it's very inspiring, to read. So go ahead, there's English versions of it floating around on Google. So go ahead and I'll take a look at that. Okay, let's see. Next is Charlene Amin. Go ahead, unmute yourself, ask your question, please.
Good afternoon and greetings, my beautiful, beautiful family.
Good afternoon to you, beautiful member of our beautiful family.
Now, the part about freedom is a launching pad, right, to express. Freedom is a launching pad to express who we truly are. I just wanted to ask, okay, you know how we're multifaceted and we have different things in us, and, I guess we could choose to hone in on whatever skills or talents we want to bless the world with, whatever makes us feel happy. Like, how do we decide, like, whatever comes up, is that okay? Because, you know, I've been doing like different types of business because, you know, you're trying to find yourself. And now I feel like natural healing is the path that I want to take, helping people to heal naturally, forget about all this Europeanized medicine. It just messes the body up. And I feel like, you know, I want to go in the path of natural healing. But how do I make sure what I'm feeling is tuned into what I need to be doing to play my part in balancing our planet?
Experience is the best teacher. You're not in a rush. You're not in a race. So there isn't something you've got to go before you turn 30. You've come here to live, and living means experiment. It means try and fail. It means that every time you tried and it didn't work, it makes you know this isn't it. Then you try the next thing. So don't be afraid to do it. It's important that we do. You see, they give us this false idea that you go to school and you get your masters and your PhDs and your blah, blah, blah. And then but so many people have gone to school and gotten all kinds of degrees in things that they have no interest in whatsoever. So that's not the point. The point is take your time. Like I told my children at some point, you know, I don't believe you should go to school, finish your license, jump into a master's program, finish that and jump into a PhD program. No. Have your license, work, experiment life, look at things. Then if you feel, oh yeah, this is where I want to do my master's, go ahead, do your master's, work, experiment again, do this, do that. Then when you feel this is where you want to, go ahead. But don't feel you have to rush and I gotta have a PhD before I'm 25. That's ridiculous. That is useless as a goal. It's not a goal. Okay? So if yes, we have tons of talents. And usually one guides you to the next. You needed to experiment that in order to. We had a young man here. And one time he was talking to a Loa, and he asked the Loa, he wanted to get to this school, that school. What he really wants to do, he says, was fly airplanes. And the Loa said, well, you don't have the right this, you don't have the right that for airplanes. And it's extremely difficult to get into airplane schools. It's expensive, et cetera, et cetera. Why don't you go learn Spanish? And the child was like, what? I want to be a pilot. Why would I want to learn Spanish? Go learn Spanish. So, but he was obedient. He went and learned Spanish. And then a year later, he's checking again with the Loa. The Loa says, you should go and study law. So, but you told me to learn Spanish. Says, yeah. But it is as you study law that you will find your way to the things you want to do. So you should go study law. So, right, says, well, you know, it's almost impossible. It's very expensive here, blah, blah, blah. In the end, he got into one of the best schools and studied law and got his license in law. And right now, he has an opportunity to go to Spain to learn pilot.
Wow, thank you.
There is a whole lot, there is a road that we have to work through to get to. It's not a jump and get there. It's life. Life means experiment. Life means learning. Every day, learn more. Try this, try that. And you get good at it. The more you do, the better you get.
So true. So there's no wrong choice. Good.
Okay.
Oh my God. Every time I come out now, I need to have a box of tissue next to me. I always get so emotional. It's such a good relief to be able to share and to ask questions and, you know, feel such support and love. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Charlene, for your question. We appreciate you. Thank you for logging on today. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any hands. No hands up in the participant screen. Anyone have a question? for Professor Bello.
Yeah, I have a question from, sorry.
Go ahead, Terrain.
Professor Bello, I have a question for you. What has life taught you about always trying to make everything perfect? And if I can, the reason I ask this is very simple. I'm just trying to find out what lesson it's been teaching me. So I was trying to have the perfect kitchen, and I bought some drinking glasses. When I opened them, one of them had an air bubble. Bought some plates, everything is perfect. Checked one, it's cracked. Everything I'm trying to make perfect, it is always, everything is breaking. Everything that has glass is breaking. My phone screen cracked, everything. So I'm wondering what lesson I'm being taught here, if there's a lesson here. So in your aim for perfection, what have it taught you?
I don't know that I have ever tried for perfection. I really don't think so. I think I usually aim to do my best, but I do not aim, I never think whatever I would do would be perfect. As soon as I do anything, I tend to find something is not the way I really want it, and I have to try harder and I have to do better. But I don't want to feel, the only thing I don't want to feel that I didn't give it my best, that, you know, I botched up the job. See? So the charge for me is to give it your very best, and not, it's not about perfection, because no matter what you do, you know, look at these, I don't know, tennis players, singers. These are people who practice 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, and they are forever improving their skills. But I think the day you say, I have done it, this is it, there's nothing that could be better than this, I think that day we're dead.
I think you're correct there, because I find myself getting hung up in small details too much, and that tend to result in me wasting a lot of time on even placing the perfect dot over the I.
Yeah. I think the concentration is doing the best that we can for that day, knowing that tomorrow will be better.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yes, absolutely. That brings me back to the story, since we were on King Henry, how when he was minting the currency for IET, the kingdom, how he wanted to have the perfect circle, right? And he brought people from all over the world to come and try to draw the perfect circle. And, you know, he chose 3 of the best ones and then had them all draw again and then chose that one. So like it takes a lot of work to reach perfection. I don't know if perfection is ever reached, but if you're not working at it, then you're never gonna get close. So, all right, let's see. Next question is going to come from Byron. Byron, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask a question, please.
Greetings and peace, Mama Bayyinah Bello, and thank you, France, for the opportunity.
Greetings.
Yeah, so my question is, my understanding of our ancestors, that we have respect for all forms of life and love for everyone, and only, you know, attack and defend when we are being attacked. And in a constant state of war and oppression, my question is, you know, how do I balance like the fire as far as what my people are going through, to remain calm and plan and organize to do what's beneficial to my people, versus taking an approach that would not be as our ancestors would take, an African-centered approach to respect for for all life?
Well, without calm, you're not going anywhere. Okay? We have done lots of emotional anger, blah, 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 blah. Usually in reactions, we are the victims of our own reactions. So we don't want to deal with reactions. We want to do actions. And actions demand planning, plotting, structuring, organizing calmly. The French people have a saying that says, vengeance is a dish that you eat cold. So if you really want to do something, you want to take your time and do it with a cool head, calm, 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 and determined, but never with lots of emotions and anger. You can't get to, you can't aim at what you want with that. So that's the way, is being calm. Structure, plan, plot. It doesn't matter, and that's one of the strengths of other people. They can wait 100 years to get something. They can plot 7 generations to reach what they want. When you really study the history of Africa, for example, the way they give us the story is as if, you were Christians, landed in Africa, and within a few days, the entire continent was theirs. That's not true. But they plan and plot for years, for decades, for centuries. It took them nearly 1,000 years to take over the entire continent, and still there are some spots that they did not get. Okay, so it's not about rushing. It's about getting to the goal.
Yeah.
And to get to your goal, you have to stay calm. You have to plan, you have to plot, you have to structure, you have to organize.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel you, Brother Byron. Because everything that's going on out there in the world right now just makes you want to go out there and like take some type of action. But like Ma Bello says, if you go in with a hot head, then chances are you're going to make wrong decisions, right? So we have to make sure that we plot, plan, and make sure that every step that we take is a positive one to reach our goals. So, all right, let's see.
Excuse me, let me add this, please.
Mm-hmm.
You see, over the past few years or centuries, we've been conditioned to think that we can win a war against someone using their education, their tools, their weapons, their tactics, going to their military schools. Isn't something wrong with this? Okay. I believe if we really work at becoming ourselves, we will only just look at certain things and they will be no more. If you truly understand who you are, then you will understand. You don't need to. I mean, look at Dessalines. He made it his business. If the forces in front of him he's facing, come to him with 10,000 or 12,000 soldiers, he looks at them and says, oh, they have 12,000. Let's see. He weighs them down. It's all right. I'll beat their butt with 8,000 men. He constantly chose to have fewer men than the enemy. Why? We have to ask ourselves why when we see things like that. Okay? What I've come to understand over the years, number one, in the structure, in their mind structure, The story goes that whoever has more men is bound to win the battle. So France is coming at me with 12,000 men. I'm coming to him with 8,000 men. France already see himself as a winner. He has won in his head. So when I make my plans and move on France, knowing that France has more men, so I have tactics of a person that has fewer soldiers. And I have an attitude of, I gotta fight hard because they got more than me. And that's how I'm gonna beat his butt. Because he already knows he's won. He just, on his horse. Okay, come. But my few men, I placed them just the right spots, just the right places. I'm not losing one man more than I have to. So we have to start to look at life that way. We cannot win a battle if the tactics, the learning, the tools, the weapons are from somebody else. That person has already won right into your hands. Their victory sits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also Dessalines, another lesson from Dessalines was he would never purchase weapons from the enemy, right? Because that way they'll sell you the worst weapons at the highest price and also let your enemy know how much you have. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned from Dessalines. We need a whole curriculum on General Dessalines.
You're the third person who says that. We need to have a curriculum to study Dessalines. Yes, and I do agree, and we will do that.
Yes. All right. Next question comes from Adwa. Adwa, go ahead and unmute. Ask the question, please.
Okay, last question. I hear people say, the end goal is Black liberation, but as we read our poem, the third paragraph, says our second mistake was that we thought of freedom as a goal rather than a launching pad from which to reach our goals. Can we spend a little more time on that third paragraph?
Excellent. Sure. All right. So our ancestor tells us freedom is not a goal. That's number one. You're just taking it totally out of field when you're looking at it as it's a goal. So, and IT has demonstrated that it cannot be, okay? IT was independent in 1803. IT is not independent in 2020. So, obviously freedom cannot be the ultimate goal. We have to understand that freedom is, what does our ancestor says? How does it qualify freedom? A launching pad. Okay? Something that you bounce on so you can get the strength, the height, what you need to fly up and get to your goal. So it cannot be the goal. It's one of the tools that you will use to reach your goal. Launching pad. There's another word we could use. Something to bounce on. Yes. Okay. So that's what you want. And you see, when we have the wrong idea, when we're saying freedom is the ultimate goal, then okay, so after freedom, we all sit down and die or lay down and die. How we do it? Yeah, or we just dance and party while the enemy makes a plan and come and grab us again. Okay, no, we have to be clear on that. That is, our history has already demonstrated that freedom cannot be an ultimate goal.
Thank you, that makes a lot of sense.
You're very welcome.
tyranny never sleeps. That's what it tells us. So we can't expect to have freedom as a goal. We attain freedom. Guess what? Tyranny never sleeps. Right?
Tyranny will be back.
Yes. Trying to take our freedom away.
We'll snatch it away while you sleep.
That's right. All right, next question.
Wake up a slave.
That's right. They'll do it the next day if they could.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Terrain, go ahead. Unmute, ask a question, please.
All right, thank you again. So my second question for today is speaking to some friends who have distanced themselves from Abrahamic religions. When you speak to them, they often say they're not religious, they're spiritual. So my question is, can you be a spiritual person without a spiritual practice?
Well, we are spiritual whether we have a practice of it, a conscious practice or not. Okay? The plants are spiritual. If you look at the plants in your yard, you'll see all of them lean towards the rising sun. Every plant, every living thing has a spiritual practice. It means what? Something from within themselves that guides them as to how to be. All right. Now, religion is a concoction of men, of humans. A few people got together and decided, okay, this is going to be the Muslim religion. This is going to be the book that we're going to use. And this is, we're going to take Fridays as the practice day, blah, 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 blah. The other group got together and said, all right, Saturday is our day, and here's our book. Here is what is allowed, what is not. So for each religion, you have a group of people who sit down and define how it will happen. Now, when you say, I'm spiritual, I'm not into religions, that means I don't want to take any of the stuff that men have agreed upon, have a set as rules as to how to deal with the unseen. I want to let my inner self guide me. Okay? So you might you come to a river and say, oh my goodness, when I come here, I feel this way and that way, so blah, blah, blah. So you enjoy yourself, you in that river. Somebody else just crosses the river, don't feel nothing. That's fine. But this person gets to the big tree over there, and that person has the same experience you're having with the river. The other person is having it over there with the big tree, or the small tree, or the bird. So spirituality is not defined by anyone. We have some common thing. We'll see that no matter what, religion or spiritual, we'll see people deal with water, with fire, with air, with earth, with plants. These are the tools that are used to express spirituality or religion or anything that has to do with the unseen. But it does not define it. Okay? There's an Arawak practice. If right now I need some soursop leaves, so I would sleep good tonight. I need some soursop leaves to make some tea. I'll go out there, I'll talk to the tree and ask permission to take 7 leaves so I could make my tea. Fine. But if I woke up at 11 p.m. and need some soursop leaves to make some tea, I have to go and knock on the tree and say, excuse me, tree, I need some leaves. Would you allow me to take some leaves, please? I have to go through a certain rituals. But what is the logic behind it? Because there always is, whether you know it or not. The tree, like yourself, went to sleep. So the liquid, what's the name of it again? That runs in the vein of the tree went down to the roots.
Sap? The chlorophyll? The chlorophyll is in the leaves. So I guess sap, yeah.
Uh-huh. has gone down to the roots. So if I just come in and grab some leaves and make some tea, my tea will have no effect. But if I take the time and shake some branches and tap on the tree and give the tree a chance to get back to awaken, then I'll get the tea that will help me go back to sleep. Okay, that's spiritual. We're dealing on the spiritual realm, the unseen, and we have conversation, we have dances, we have all kind of ways of communicating on the spiritual. Okay, on the religious, we have different kind of thing. When Catholic religion first started, everyone had to buy all the cloth and everything from Rome. It's good business. Those are man-made decisions. But I will be just as close to the divine, naked, in my house, by the sea, by the river, in a forest, wherever, because the divine is everywhere. I don't have to go any place on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
That is true, but does it has to be always conscious?
Well, no. Many people have unconscious practices. And some people may even tell you, I have none, but they do. You'll find people who say, no, I don't believe in any religion, blah, 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 blah. As soon as they hit their foot, they say, well, Jesus. Oh, really? You don't have any practice? You do, but you're not conscious of it.
You were correct, because our people tend to pour libation a lot, even though they're not aware of what they're doing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. That was a good answer.
Thank you. That was a very good question.
Yes. Thank you, Terrain. Okay, next question from Diana Revolus.
You're getting good, Franz.
Revolus. Yeah, I love it. Revolus. I love it. And you did it perfect. And trampoline was, I think, the word you were looking for that you jumped on. I have a question of kind of two parts, though. Can you explain, especially looking at our Constitution and being shackled to our own identity? I've asked you this before, but I want to say it here. ITAYITI, ITHAYTI, ITHAITI. And do you believe, especially from our past, that in today's day, 2020, that the politician and the advocate can play in the same space and role?
Politicians and advocates can what?
Play in the same space and role. Like, can you be that same person? I know of our past, yes, they were. But in today's day and age, can you truly have the spirit of the activist and play the politician?
That's a tough one. As a rule, I might tend to believe that it's not, but since there is nothing absolute, I would say it can happen. But as a rule, it's not.
I didn't think so. I didn't. Yeah, so that, and then just looking at the Constitution, it brought back to the fact that it's spelled with the HAYTI. And I remember speaking about that before, and it was explained in but I would love to hear it from you.
All right. The Arawak, IT is an Arawak term. The Arawak people had an alphabet of 13 letters. And with their 13 letters, they wrote ITAYITI. So that is the oldest spelling of the word. Now, when we became independent, in the text by Dessalines, we find both AYITI, not talking about Creole or French, just that's It, name of the country. A-Y-I-T-I. And we also find H-A-Y-T-I. So we find the two spellings are used during Dessalines time. Now with King Henry, we find a single spelling. It's H-A-Y-T-I. So, and then we find in 1807, when they create the Republic, H-A-I tréma T-I, the I with the double dot, with two dots on top. Okay, that's, so we have IT that has been there for over 4,000 years, the Arawak spelling. We have I-T-H-A-Y-T-I, the empire and the kingdom. And we have I-T-H-A-I tréma T-I, the republic. So it's not a question of choosing or this, it's a question of knowing.
Yes.
If I'm referring to King Henry, I would never dare write I-T other than H-A-Y-T-I, because in no documents of his do I find it written otherwise.
Right.
But if I'm referring to the Republic, then I will definitely use H-A-I-T-I.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
All right, very good. Thanks for the question, Diana. Let's see. No more hands raised in the participant screen.
So then that means we could say goodbye and go home?
Short session today.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are you working at something, or are we through with questions and would like to get to comments?
Comments. Anyone have some good comments for us? Anyone has anything special to share with us? Any great things happening?
I've been working for about 2 months trying to organize a Black women's protection group in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I've recently got contacts from brothers in the city that's willing to join a network to assist our women in any situation as simple as getting their yard cut, or in a situation where they're uncomfortable and need someone there just to be a presence for them. So I'm happy to say that brothers are stepping up in the area, and I'm going to be moving from North Carolina in a few months. I recently got engaged. I need to mention that too. My woman's in Dallas. Thank you. Yeah, but one thing I wanted to do in North Carolina before I left was have a Black women's protection group set up where we network, organize, just self-defense training, and just have fun days where we just build a brotherhood, and also our sisters can reach out to us whenever they need us. So that is gonna, I believe, gonna happen before I leave. And then when I move to Dallas, I'm gonna do the same thing there. So news is I am engaged, and also that we are gonna be protecting our women in the Winston-Salem area, High Point, Lexington, Greensboro, and that work's gonna continue in Texas.
Very good. That's an excellent idea. And as you spoke, I think of the Constitution of 1805. It says, to deserve the quality of being an Haitian citizen, one must be A, a good son, B, a good father, C, a good spouse, and most of all, a good soldier. So on all counts, from what you tell us, you definitely qualify to be a Haitian citizen.
I'm honored to hear that. I appreciate that, Mama Bello.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I just speak what I know. That's it.
Yeah, great work, Byron. In fact, I know someone, there's a brother out in Houston that's doing something similar. I think it's more like self-defense, on the self-defense side, and arms training and stuff like that in Houston. There's a brother that's doing stuff like that for women, Black women. So I'll put you guys together if you're gonna be out there in Dallas. I don't know how far Houston and Dallas are from each other, but
it's not too far.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'll shoot you a message and I'll link you guys because he's doing some good stuff out there too.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay, Terrain is back. Terrain.
Hi, friends. Sorry for asking so many questions. So this is like
Sorry about
commentary. So I want to thank you, Mama Bello, for bringing to light to me the idea of several birthdays. Sitting down earlier this week, I realized that last year I was reborn. So just some background there. Last year I thought my life had fallen apart, cut my hair, sold everything, and just moved and gave away what I needed to give away. And just sitting and thinking, I realized that through that process, I was transformed. I was able to detach myself from all the physical things I had in my life that I thought I needed. I have to have them. And just sitting there and thinking, I remember you speaking about the principles of Dambala, and the serpent shedding its skin, transforming into a new life. So is it through that transformation, is that the principle of Dambala in our life that eventually lead us to transformation to Ogu?
All right. Every force in nature, everything, has the power to transform. When we say Ogu, Ogu is like the expert transformer, but all the forces, all the principles have the power to transform. And as you just demonstrated, as you spoke of the snake shed his own skin and then grow a brand new one. And that's part of why the snake can live so long, because it could, it becomes younger every time it does. Okay. But more than that, Dambala is not just represented by the snake. Dambala is the snake. Dambala is also represented by the rainbow. Okay. So that means it goes from a animal form, it goes to a totally different form. Okay, as rainbow. But always, if you look at the rainbow and the snake have the same shape, and both always are in twins. Anytime you see a snake, you know that the female is not far. Or if you see the female, the male is not far. Well, the same thing is true when you look up in the sky, you say, oh, here's a rainbow. Look carefully, you'll see there's another one a little less sharp, but it's still right there. So with transformation on different level. Transformation with Ogu is working on your character, your possibilities, build your muscles, take the iron, turn it into a sword or turn it into fork or camera, whatever, but transform it into something else, something even more useful than what it was before. Okay, so transformation is part of life, and all of us have to be working at transforming ourselves. The worst thing that can happen to any one of us is to think of ourselves as perfect the way we are. That's a lie. Because situations are changing, like right now. The country you're in right now, the country I'm in right now, is not the country I knew 2 years ago. Everything is changing around us, and sometimes more drastically than others. And right now we're into a very drastic changing time. So we must be transforming ourselves even more to adapt more properly to the new environment that's coming, that we're living in. Okay? So transformation is the key. Being able to do it, and if it doesn't happen in the head, it cannot happen anywhere else. So we have to make the proper changes in the mind, and then the body will follow.
Amen to that. Can I ask a favor of anyone in the chat? Does anyone have the full PDF of Arthur Schoenberg's essay, The Negro Digs Up Is Past?
Not sure, but anyone that heard that request, if you could post it in the chat for Brother Terrain, I'm sure he'll be very appreciative. All right, so I believe that was our last question, Professor Bello. So I believe you could give us some parting statements.
Remember, we are a people who carry, each one of us, carry our entire people within ourselves. All those who've gone before us live in us today. We have to create the situation where they can express themselves by transforming ourselves and acting in ways that add victories to their victories. It is vital for us to always be aware of who we are, where we are, what's going on in our environment, and take the right decisions. No emotional nothing, no anger, no suddenly I got to. No. That's the quickest way to die. I repeat, that's the quickest way to die. Some people will come to you purposefully, making you do things that you didn't intend to do. If it was not in your plan, don't let anybody make you do anything. Even if somebody slaps you, smile and go move on. Make a plan as to when you will give a response and what kind of response you will give. But don't get into a fight you didn't plan. Only get into a fight that you start when you leave your house, you knew you were gonna do it. If you didn't leave the house with that, then you don't want to get into that. So please take control of yourselves. Practice your breathing, your deep breathing, and stay aware and in control more than ever we need it today. Remember who you are. You are Dessalines. You are Christophe. You are Capua. You are Marie-Jeanne. All their talents are sleeping in you. Wake them up, and together, let's mark the world with our victories. Take good care, be well, work your power. Our weapons are inside of us. Others have to go get their weapons. Ours are right there. We need to sharpen up our abilities to use them. Have a great week. Be blessed. Be protected. Till next time.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for logging on to another session of Bayyinah and Friends, and we will see you next Thursday. Peace and blessings, family. Everyone have a great weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Take good care.
Bye.
All right. Thank you again.
Bye-bye. Be blessed. And be protected.
All right, everyone. See y'all next weekend. Peace.
All right, blessings.